Welcome to T-Rex Bites. My name is Kathleen Klein, and I'm the Community Director for T-Rex. For those joining us for the first time, T-Rex is a nonprofit technology innovation center in downtown St. Louis. We're home to over 200 tech companies, startups, and organizations who support our community of entrepreneurs. While our staff is working from home, we've launched T-Rex Bites as a way to stay connected and give little bites about what's happening in the T-Rex world. Today, I spoke with a startup founder who built a video conferencing platform for market research, and it's particularly applicable for those social distancing right now.
I'm excited that we are able to provide a tool and a service that helps people keep their businesses going, keep their jobs, and also do all of that while staying safe, staying home, staying with their loved ones. So it's very, very cool, when something that you build and a company that you create has the opportunity to provide that kind of impact and have that kind of effect on just, people in their personal and professional lives.
That's Devin Turner of FocalCast, who told us a little about his company, his startup journey, and even shared a few tips for aspiring entrepreneurs. Thanks for tuning in. I'm really excited to welcome Devin Turner of FocalCast. Your product is it's a videoing thing, it's a remote meeting thing. I know that there are capabilities where somebody can draw on a slide or highlight things. I've demonstrated that for a little commercial you shot a few years ago. So those are the things I know.
That's right.
So I'm looking forward to you describing it in greater detail.
Sure. So FocalCast, essentially you can think of us as Zoom video conferencing for market research. Then why would you not just use Zoom for market research then, right? You might ask. So Zoom, I'm sure we've all probably used it. It's a piece of software that you have to download and run on your actual computer, your actual machine. And it's just kind of basic video conferencing. So it's just you share your videos, you can screen share, blah, blah, blah. And it works well. It's great. It's a good tool. But for our industry, so if you think of like focus groups or interviews, anytime a company is developing a new product or marketing campaign or advertising campaign, you want to get feedback, right? You want to test the product. If it's a Nike shoe, you want to, ship it to people, runners, and like have them run in it and then talk to them and get their feedback. What was it like? How does it fit? In the past, that was pretty much all done in person. So you would have a group of people, you'd have to like rent a room, a space with like a one-way mirror and stuff and bring people in, then have a moderator sit in there and talk to everybody.
I've done it.
Right, exactly. So, maybe you've even participated in a focus group and then you have
it was
the whole
about
team.
mascara, in fact, but
really?
It was a long time ago. There was between jobs, but it was a quick way to make $50.
Yeah, right. And it's it's a good way to make some decent money actually. But now with
but I've never considered market research being done in this way specifically, though. It seems like a group activity, like we all have to be together in a room.
So it works in a browser, so you don't have to download anything. There's no installation process. You just click a link, and any device that you're on, it just opens up. You're automatically in. The moderator who's hosting the focus group has like total control. They can move everything around and interact with participants and display stimuli and ask polling questions and do kind of all of the things, have all of the tools that they need. The clients and the rest of the team, kind of from the virtual backroom, we call it, can watch everything live. So they can hear and see everything, but their camera and microphone is never accessed. It's not, their video is not used at all. And then they can chat in a virtual backroom group chat with the rest of the backroom team and the moderators. So the technology loops to get through to join in are completely removed. It's really easy. It works on any device. And yeah, like you said, so for focus groups or interviews now, you don't have to physically travel to somewhere. So everyone's working from home now. Everyone's home. You're not even allowed to travel anywhere. So this tool allows you to still be able to do all of those interviews, focus groups, that kind of stuff, just online with whatever devices people have, phones, computers, laptops. And like you said, the people participating can get paid like $300 per focus group. And if you're just doing it on your laptop in your house, like you don't even have to go anywhere. You can just wake up, go to your living room, fire up your laptop, and go to FocalCast and make a couple $100. Like that's a pretty good deal. So
my God, I should be getting in on that.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely no offense to T-Rex whatsoever, but I would not mind.
Yeah, if you have any good ones, I'll pass them along.
No kidding. I know I'm a Midwestern lady between 30 and 38. I think that's like a demographic I'm in. So in the context of the COVID pandemic, and you are seeing a lot of people using it, at least the people that are able to work from home, taking advantage of the product. I mean, do you feel like you're learning things from this experience of getting such more like widespread usage?
It's been crazy because, I wish that it wouldn't have to happen this way, right? Like a global pandemic this is not a good thing that is good for anything. But I think, which we've talked, with our own users have said this, that, now, like if you think about technology, right? Like new technology or technology adaptation. So you have like the early adopters, and then, like that whole curve of people adopting new technology. And there's a big barrier just to get someone to try something. So when you're a tech company, getting over that barrier now because of the quarantine and everything with the coronavirus, everything has to be online. So projects that were half and half before are now 100% digital, and projects that were supposed to be running in person have had to get converted to online projects. So we've seen, a huge increase in platform use from all over the world as well. We've had folks from pretty much every India, New Zealand. It does a ton of video research for some reason. They're very innovative down there. New Zealand, Australia, Asia, Europe, and in Germany, and then London, the United Kingdom, and Ireland. We're going to have projects running in Canada, and of course, all over the United States as well. So yeah, it's been a crazy time for us as we're trying to, manage all of the demand.
And how quickly would you say seeing the increased use of the platform?
Shift, yeah, the shift was overnight. Probably after the travel ban between the U.S. and Europe, that was kind of the major breaking point from for big companies and stuff, right? Like having an event like this, where it forces everyone to get on and try something and use the technology for the first time. Then even afterwards, after we get through all of this, behaviors will have changed, right? And everyone will be comfortable and everyone will have used it. So the next time they go to do a focus group, or the next time they do an interview, everyone will have already done it in their home or on their computer or on their phone. So a lot of companies are like, hey, now that we've actually done this and this has worked, we can continue doing this. And I think we're going to see a pretty significant behavior shift after this towards, technology, more remote work, and more, live technology-based interactions and calls and work like this, which is exactly what our technology facilitates, which is really exciting.
Right. Awesome. Yep. Well, I want to do just like a little bit of a rewind. I want you to take yourself back to the time and place you were in when you developed the concept for FocalCast. What line of work were you in? Were you working or were you in school? Because I don't even think you and I have independently talked about this ever. Where were you in space and time?
Yeah. So it's an interesting story because my background is actually aerospace engineering, which is totally unrelated. And I'm probably one of very few, if any, aerospace engineers that are running
NASA.
research.
I mean, let's be real. Like you were working for NASA. You can brag about that.
back in the day, yeah. I was very lucky. I was one of the youngest engineers to be able to work on the space shuttle program at Kennedy Space Center way back in the day. which was incredible. And I worked for a couple other companies as well. And then kind of right at the end of college, I went to Marquette University in Wisconsin. Shout out to the Golden Eagles.
The fighting something. Okay.
The fighting, yes.
Go, yeah, sure. Go Marquette.
We are Marquette. But yeah, so towards the end of college, I really had kind of always been interested in and always had a passion for starting something from scratch, starting my own company, and took an entrepreneurship class in high school and kind of went through that progress, and then also took business classes in college. So like organizational management and a lot of the kind of basic business fundamentals for like a minor in business administration, and got to kind of senior year, the end of college, and was looking at opportunities for, where is a good combination of technology and business opportunity, and did some research and discovered, so this, again, it's hard because technology moves so quickly. It's hard to even place, like how fast things move. Microsoft didn't have any mobile apps. So this is like 2013. So like PowerPoint and Word on a phone you couldn't do it. Chromecast didn't exist. Apple TV had just come out very early on, and we kind of, I saw an opportunity in just connecting devices together. It's like, hey, smartphones are a huge change. Tablets are going to be huge. Kind of like, hey, I think laptops are going to turn into kind of tablets, and it's going to be one device that we use in the future. And how do we connect all, I've got a document on my device, and I'm in a meeting with you. How do we all get on the same page? I remember actually, I had it's crazy circumstances that come up. I did a conference call with the program manager that was developing Google Slides, and because we were developing, one of the first mobile programs that would allow you to share documents and annotate and make changes live to documents between devices. And yeah, I had this weird conference call where this guy who was like running a major Google program was picking my brain and trying to find out what we were doing and whether it was going to be a problem to compete with them. And yeah, it was crazy. So we ended up launching FocalCast on Android, and it was like one of the first presentation like PowerPoint applications for Chromecast, and it got a lot of downloads and it was all over the place. And we were able to kind of leverage a lot of that momentum into some offers for venture capital on the East Coast and in the Midwest. And one of them was with Capital Innovators.
What year was that?
Oh, you're stretching my brain now. I think we were 2014 with them.
Okay.
2014 or 2015. It was pretty early on. So but
it was like how many years into the development of the product?
It was right at the beginning.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty close on. What we are now, like what FocalCast is as a company and as technology now is not. I mean, that's where it started, but where we are, like what we are now is completely different. But yeah, long story short, we were kind of talking with different businesses and looking for, hey, we have this exciting technology. Where is a good fit for it? And of course, in market research, you want to be able to have a bunch of people working on stimuli or interacting with ad campaigns or content or products or whiteboarding together and creating ideas and looking at material. And you want to be able to have a lot of other people watching that happen live. So that kind of was where we found the best fit from both a business perspective from our end and for a customer perspective for our technology, and then subsequently built out kind of an entire industry leading live video market research platform.
Awesome. So where you are now then, I mean, the way that I described it at the offset with the drawing type capabilities and sort of like the scribbling notes on a slide,
It's all still in there. Yep. So like
it's still in there, but you've like evolved from that
Oh
kind of
yeah,
original.
yeah. I mean, we've had that was kind of the very early kernel of hey, I think connecting different devices together is going to be a big deal.
Where do you see this going next? What's the future for the company? What do you?
Yeah, great question. So again, as a tech company, we're continuously pushing and evolving. We've evolved significantly to get to the point where we've been for the last couple of years, and we're continuing to build out some really exciting stuff. I don't think we've publicly announced this yet, but we also have a kind of like a machine learning, artificial intelligence platform that we're rolling out this month. Very excited about that, and that's kind of like an additional component towards the capability for doing video conferencing. So if you think about doing focus groups or doing interviews with consumers or anyone to understand what's going on in a market or for a product, you have a whole lot of data, right? All of the market research interviews and focus groups are all recorded, and then all of that can get transcribed, and then you end up with multiple transcripts. So if you have like 100 interviews, about Nike shoes or something like that, you talk to 100 runners around the world about their shoes. You're as a human, as a person, right? Like, we're not going to be able to remember all the details from 100 hours of conversations with different people. Like, well, I'd be lucky if I remembered 2, right? So how do you, and like the time that it would take for a human to go back and like read through every interview and pick out like, oh, these 5 people all said the same thing, and these 5 people all, and like, oh, the people in this country, had a positive response, people in this country had a negative response, and here's how they, different people felt about these different things. That's where computers are much more efficient than humans. So we've built out a capability where we can use linguistic analysis and actually like learn how people are talking, and then feed in all of the data from all of the interviews and content from a market research project, and then analyze it and kind of instantly just get all of the information, all of the relevant
amazing.
Yeah, which is great. So hey, here, you heard it here first. Watch for Insight, FocalCast Insight, coming soon. By the end of April, we've started talking about it a little bit, and we should have the first users on it probably by the end of the month.
This is awesome. And are you partnering with somebody on the AI capability of that?
No.
Okay.
No. But if someone wants to partner with us to license it, I'd be happy to talk.
Okay. Well, it's funny. Balto Software is another, company in T-Rex. That was one of, for me, my kind of initial introduction into the value of artificial intelligence and doing those real-time evaluation of conversations and just how that shapes the data. So that's huge. And it's so, being a non-techie person myself, or just in my own life, it's hard for me to imagine these applications until it's explained, but it makes perfect sense, especially in the marketing research realm.
Yeah.
Why that would be necessary. So that's really cool. That's a very big, that's a hot item there, little morsel for us to be.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
it could be our humble podcast. So I appreciate.
Yeah, absolutely. Share, tell your friends, tell your mom.
That's very cool. So here's our edgy question for you. Anything you would do differently? Because we don't know who's going to be listening to this podcast. We don't know if we're going to have entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs or colleagues of yours, but I think everybody can relate to a little bit of a sage wisdom from a seasoned entrepreneur such as yourself. So anything you'd like to share in hindsight?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I mean, should I list it alphabetically or chronologically, right? Let's see. If I could for if I could talk to a younger version of me, I think my advice to my previous self, and honestly to any entrepreneur, I try to tell this to people as much as I can, is sell before you build. And I mean that kind of literally. Honestly, like if you have a good idea, before you invest the time and resources to execute on your idea, go out and kind of pitch it to the people that you think will be your clients, and see what their feedback is. Market research, you could say. It's there's a reason that companies do market research, and that it's such a powerful tool, because a lot of times you'll have a great idea, and the execution of it will be slightly different than what your kind of first thought is, or maybe your market will be slightly different than what you think it is at first. And the sooner you can figure that out and adapt your product, or build your product to fit your market need, the better off you'll be, in general, and the more successful you'll be. That was kind of, where we started. We started building right away, and we kind of built a product in a direction that we, initially, and again, this is not the FocalCast platform of today. This is right at the very beginning. We kind of ran into directions like, we think it's going to go this way. And it's like, actually, if we had kind of gone out and talked to people and gotten feedback and pitched it, we probably would have gone, in a different direction with what we had originally built. And there's, history is full of cool products that kind of end up on the shelf that no one actually buys, where it's like, oh, that looks really cool, but like, did anyone ever actually use it or buy it? Not so much. Especially like in Silicon Valley, it's kind of skewed because there's just the concentration of money there is so ridiculous. There's so much money that for someone to write you a check for $1 million is not as big of a deal as it is in a lot of other places. And sometimes you can just say, oh, we have this crazy, we built this crazy product. Here's $1 million. See if you can sell it. And if you can't sell it, like, we don't really care. But if you're really trying to build and grow successful companies, you need customers, right? You need to be able to provide something that people are interested and willing to use and willing to pay for. And that's what you want to find out before you build it.
Absolutely. I have to say, in my experience, it's pretty common for me to meet somebody coming into T-Rex wanting to either rent an office or get a membership or something. And it's like, I have this thing already done, and now I'm going to explain to you why you need it.
Right.
It's kind of it is definitely like a backwards approach. I mean, and it's probably really the approach of a lot of products and advertise. I mean, what do we see advertisements for when they make it to that stage? You see it for an already developed product, but
right.
If you're in that idea stage and you don't have a whole lot of money, you're going to save yourself a lot of time and effort if you just don't do the backwards way. Instead, you find out what people need first and exactly what they need, and try to incorporate that into the product, especially a platform like yours. Yeah.
Yep. So and if you can, because again, like you said, a lot of people will go out and they'll try and raise money to say, I need money to build this product. And it's like, okay, if you had people that are willing to pay for the product, go talk to them and get them, get an upfront financial commitment. And then you can, if you go and generate some sales, you can use that capital to then help fund the development and building of whatever it is that your product is.
No, but I do want to say, though, this doesn't mean don't build a prototype, right? I mean, correct. You got to have something to show to get somebody excited.
That is a great point, because you don't want to sell something that is I mean, I don't want to go down this road, but the perfect example of the wrong application of this concept is Theranos, right? The blood testing company.
One of my favorite documentaries to date.
Exactly, right. So that is the wrong way to do sales first, where they went out and generated a bunch of sales and got a bunch of financial commitments for a product that was
they had no ability to create,
that they couldn't ever build. That was impossible. Like flying unicorns are amazing, and I'm sure there would be tons of people out there willing to spend lots of thousands of dollars for
that would be a Pegasus,
actually. Right, to own a flying unicorn. It's like, oh yeah, sure, here's $1,000. I would love a flying unicorn, but you can't sell people things that are impossible. So you have to make sure that what your concept and your idea, and like you said, the prototype is something that you actually do have the ability to build, and you do have the ability to create. So when you get those first users, first customers, pilot beta users, and get your first group of people lined up, you can actually deliver, and you do actually have something to give to them.
That's very sage advice. And for all those who are listening and not watching, this is coming from a guy with a really, really long white beard, sitting crisscross applesauce under a tree.
I do actually have a beard, which is unusual. Yeah. This is I call it the COVID beard.
It's just, hey, I mean, we're all making some changes here.
Right, exactly.
So, I would love to just given the circumstances, let's focus on the good, which is we're comfy. The two of us, at least, are comfy, currently talking to each other from our own homes. You want to brag about your office setup, your ad office setup? Do you want to show us your roommate?
I don't know if my roommate feels the need to be shown, but as many of us have probably had to do, so I've we've adapted our living space into a living and working space. As you can see, I have my FocalCast conference banner behind me, and then right next to it, some gym equipment as well.
All right, there it is.
Love it. I've got an office and a dining table and a gym all in the same place. And of course, I also have my Tiger King friend.
Topical.
Hobbs, who actually I had this.
That hook around the shoulders? What's happening with him?
Yeah, he likes to. Yeah, he likes to join. He's my coworker for COVID. He likes to join conference calls and demos as well. Actually, we had this before, and I've got some tiger pillows.
My Lord!
Which we actually had.
You're ahead of the trend.
Exactly.
Oh, what a trend for us all to be jumping on a bandwagon together.
Yeah, surrounded by gym equipment and stuffed tigers.
Well, Joe Exotic would be very proud. Cool cats and kittens. You know what? I was gonna give a real-time Walter update here. Hang on. Hey, Walter. Walter. Oh my gosh, not interested. You know what? We're taking it into the living room. Come on.
Walter Cam. Yes.
Do you remember Walter Cam?
Oh yeah. I love Walter Cam.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Hi, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Well, say hi.
Oh, there he is.
Walter, come here. Oh, he seems excited. He seems to
know
this.
Oh, Walter. Hi. How's it going, man?
That's all we're gonna get.
There he is. He's like, you don't have a sandwich, so I have no interest in you.
I can't decide if he's able to understand screens.
What's going on?
Because I love seeing sometimes when there's dogs, I'll see them on Instagram, dogs that they watch TV and they interact with it and they get excited. Not so with my aging beagle. I don't know. I don't know what's up, why some of them can see screens and others can't. Anyway, on that note, Devin, thank you so much for repping FocalCast. And I don't know, anything else you want to add before we sign off?
I'm just, again, this is crazy times, and please stay safe, stay home, be well. And for any companies, I think we're going to start at the end of this month as well. We're offering the first hour of video online focus groups or online research for free as well. So if you know any companies that are trying to transition projects or marketing or market research or anything like that from projects that were supposed to be in person and are getting canceled and moved online or something like that, we're here to help. Just let us know, FocalCast.io, and yeah, stay safe.
Okay, I love that, and we'll be sure to share ways for people to get connected to you guys. So
Yeah,
thank you
sure.
again, Devin Turner.
Thank you.
And thanks to everybody for tuning in to my first episode of T-Rex Bites. And that's Bites with a B-Y-T-E-S. It's a triple entendre. Anyway, okay. Thank you, Devin. Thank you, everybody. And we're signing off.
All right. See ya.
Thanks.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of T-Rex Bites, where you can get little bites about what's happening in the T-Rex world. T-Rex is a nonprofit technology, innovation, and entrepreneur development center dedicated to strengthening the economic vitality of St. Louis. You can find future episodes at Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, or by checking us out at anchor.fm/TrexBites. And you can learn more about the T-Rex Innovation Center by visiting us at downtowntrx.org. This episode was written, produced, and edited by T-Rex staff. Music provided by Shane Ivers at silvermansound.com. Cover art by Jocelyn Edwards. On behalf of the T-Rex team, I'm Communications Manager BJ Krayberg. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll catch you next episode.